Those of you who have those bars, those of you who have the bars, can you do me a favour and look at the nutritional information on the back of that packet? This is going to help you be a bit more mindful and conscious of what you're eating. So everyone have a look. If you have those bars, I know there's probably not enough to go around, but can you look at the nutritional information for me? Has everyone found it? Okay. I want you to have a look at the carbohydrates. And it should say underneath carbohydrates of which sugars. Can you read out those numbers for me? So how many grams of carbohydrates does the loaf have? 5.1. And which of those are sugars? So I'll give you a quick tip when we're looking at that nutritional information. The smaller the ratio between the sugars and the carbohydrates, the more complex the carbs are. So it's a really simple way of knowing which is complex and simple carbohydrates. If you look at which are sugars, which are readily available, the simple carbohydrates, they're probably not going to be as good for you. So if you look at a chocolate bar, it will say something like carbohydrates, let's say for example 50 grams, of which sugars is 49 grams. 49 out of 50 is probably not a good ratio to have, unless you're really low on energy, then have the chocolate bar over nothing. But if you want a bit of something that will keep you going for a bit longer, then you want to look at sugars that are carbohydrates that have a lower amount of sugars in them. So let's say 5 grams of sugars out of 50 grams, that's probably a lot better than 49 over 50. So next time you pick up a snack, have a look at that nutritional information and see if it's good for your training. So I think that's everything, guys. Oh, thank you for listening. Does anyone have any questions?
Please give us examples for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, okay.
Specific examples.
Okay. So I've put some pictures here on the side, and everyone sees there's only 2 pictures. So for breakfast, I think the best thing to have is porridge. Now with porridge, most of them are a very complex carb. Just be mindful when you're shopping for those porridge that you don't get the ones that are in sachets. They're actually quite bad. They have a lot of sugars in them, and because they have milk powder in them, which is made diluted into milk quite quickly, and they're actually not that great for you. So just get natural oats that you can make in the hob. They do take a little bit longer, but they will probably keep you fuller for longer as the day goes on. You'll actually find that if you make a bowl of porridge, it doesn't actually have that many calories in there, but it's really easy to top up your porridge with things like fruits, dried fruits, seeds. So I use, for example, for my breakfast every single day, a mixture of sunflower, pumpkin, and chia seeds. They're a great source of fats and omega-3, which is also great for maintaining those bodily functions throughout the day.
What about honey?
Honey is good. It's also a source of simple carb, and it makes it a lot good as well. You can put things like peanut butter or almond butter on there as well. A spoonful of this is something like, actually I'll show you. A spoonful of this is something like 100 calories. It's got good carbs, good protein. It's got 4 grams of protein in a spoonful. So if you just put that in your porridge, that's really great. If you are going to have cereal, be a bit mindful again, looking at the nutritional information. You want to get cereals that have less sugars. You'll find that most cereals actually have quite a lot of sugar in there. Get things like multi-grain toast as opposed to white bread. Breads that have seeds in them, they release energy a lot slower. What else? Eggs. It's quite good to have protein at breakfast because your body has used protein overnight. So you want to replace those as quickly as possible. But it's not that urgent. You can actually have regular bouts of protein throughout the day as opposed to having it all at once. That's probably the best way to use protein. So that's breakfast. Anyone have any questions about breakfast?
Okay. Well, things like grapefruit juice and...
Yeah, fruit juices are good because they're...
Too acidy, is it too...
They're fine, they're usually fine as long as they don't have a lot of sugar in them.
Okay.
They're fine, you find that they have a lot of vitamins and minerals, and it's also quite a quick source of simple carbohydrates, so it's a great source of energy to start the day off. And fruit juices, if you don't like having breakfast, and I know that it's quite common as you get through school, having things like smoothies. So you can make a smoothie and actually put oats in there and blend that with your fruits, milk, yogurt. That's really useful because then you can also have that on the go. And if you're you're rushing for breakfast. Lunch and dinner, they can be quite similar, but I would say if you're going to have a lot of protein, probably have it towards dinner time because proteins take a lot longer to digest. So you'll probably, if you're coming to training, you'll probably still feel a bit heavy in your stomach if you have quite a lot of protein. So keeping lunch as more carbs, less protein, and then dinner, sort of switch that around, have more protein, less carbs. That's probably really useful. So the way I sort of build my meals is I'll start with protein. So let's say I'm having chicken breast for dinner. Then around that I'll say, okay, I'll have some sweet potato, which is better than white potato while I'm here. And then I'll add colour to that. So I'll add some vegetables, something that's green, something that's orange, like carrots. Just make sure that plate's really colourful. And that's probably the best way to look at your meals, building it around the protein. Is anyone here vegetarian or vegan? Okay. You are?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot more tricky, but we'll leave it there. You don't need that. Nuts are a great source of protein. Chickpeas, a lot of pulses, so lentils, if you're quite a big fan of lentils. You probably know what the best is. Just want to make sure that fits for vegan / vegetarian. So yeah, it's really simple, just build your meals around your favourite proteins. Anything else? Do I have anything else to say?
Competition days.
Competition days. Okay, that gets a little bit different. So with competition days, so who remembers which is our main source of energy? Yes, carbohydrates. So you probably hear of marathon runners talk about something called carbo loading. So a few days before their marathon, they will eat as much rice, pasta, bread as their body can take because they will use that as their energy source. We will all use carbohydrates as our energy source. So on the day of a competition, before a race, I will probably forego protein. I won't have any protein, only because the body takes quite a lot of energy to digest protein, and you want to save that energy for when you're racing. So that's probably when I'll have the most carbohydrates, and I will probably divide them equally between simple and complex carbohydrates. Number one, because I need those simple carbohydrates as soon as possible, ready to race. But number two, complex carbohydrates to make sure that I actually have energy to keep me going. It's quite hard to say when your body will use simple and complex carbohydrates, but complex carbohydrates you can be assured that your muscles and your liver will contain those glycogen stores ready to use when your body needs them. And then after a race or after a competition, that's when you need your protein, because your muscles are used the most probably when you're racing, because you run 9 times out of 10 you run the fastest you've ever run. So that's when your body needs the protein because your muscles have been exerted quite a lot. What else about competitions? You want to keep your meals light, of course. You don't want to feel too heavy. And also hydration. Hydrate. Make sure you hydrate before a race because it can actually be the difference between feeling powerful and feeling powerless. Hydration actually has a big part to play in power production. And also, simple glass of water sometimes might not do the trick. So if you include a bit of squash, like I mentioned earlier, it's known as an isotonic. It gives you energy and it also allows the body to absorb the minerals that squash might have. Mainly sodium and potassium, but you don't need to know that. But yeah, just sort of varying your water intake as well. Any other questions? Yes, indeed.
So on a competition day, if you're going to have a snack, what would you have for a snack?
I want to have a snack. Bananas are great. Bananas are really great. They have quite a few calories in there than most other fruits. So a medium banana, for example, that size will have 150 calories, whereas apple might have something like 70. So bananas are actually a really great source of carbohydrates, but also probably in the middle of the spectrum between simplex and complex carbs. So you can be assured that it will be transferred to glycogen quite quickly, but also keep you quite full. So bananas are great. Things like oats bars, so are you guys aware of Nature Valley bars?
Yeah.
They're fantastic because they have oats in there which are complex, but they're also made with honey or maple syrup. Sometimes they have the nuts in there, which is everything you need. So oat bars, but also on the day of a competition, that's when I make sure that I have a really good breakfast. So porridge is probably your go-to on a race day, and then adding things onto that like fruits, honey, like I mentioned before. You really want to make sure you have a good breakfast on the competition day. And staying hydrated. Yeah. What if there's anything else? Yeah, that's fine.
So you wouldn't advise them to have like a jerk chicken with rice in the middle of the competition?
You can have that after the competition.
But because they say a full here and during the mini-thon, what we see is lots of kids after they've done the first race to rush for hot dogs.
Yeah.
They go for hot dogs or jerk chicken and rice, and after they can't run because then they have cramps. I had that situation once.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I wouldn't say so. You also, the good thing, you need to be quite organised when it comes to competition days. So I know some competitions that I held here, you probably have more than one race in a day. And that's when it's really important to get your nutrition right. So, like I said before a race, you want to top up your carbohydrates and glycogen stores as much as you can. And then after a race, you want to replace your body with its lost electrolytes that we lose through things like sweat and also just maintaining our body. Our body uses water to keep our muscles going. So water, if you imagine it just sort of recycling itself through the body as it's exercising, you actually lose quite a lot of electrolytes. And then that's fine. When you lose electrolytes, that's when you'll find that you'll start cramping, you start getting stitches. So staying hydrated throughout competition day. And then also topping up those glycogen stores quite often, so having things like bananas. When you're topping up your glycogen stores between races, that's when it's really important to have those simple carbohydrates that we talked about earlier, because they're easy to digest. The sugar is readily available as opposed to your body having to digest it. So it's knowing when to have simple and complex carbohydrates. I understand that it might be a bit confusing, but if you just think of simple carbs as something that's readily available and complex carbs as something that keeps you going, that's the best. Is anyone confused about simple and complex?
No, I'm just about what would a meal look like if it's just carbohydrates without the protein.
Don't ignore protein.
Yeah, you know, like we said at the beginning, you have a carbohydrate meal or days, and then you have a protein after the race.
Yeah.
What would you kind of cut as a meal? What would it be? Would it be like brown rice and vegetables?
Yeah. So let's say you have, let's use chicken breast as an example.
Yeah.
For lunch, having a chicken breast is not the end of the world, but having more sort of brown rice, for example, and then more vegetables for your lunch ensures that you have quite an adequate amount of carbohydrates. Then let's say you go to dinner and you need more protein, and I would just increase that to 2 chicken breasts or a bit more of a chicken breast. So it's the balance of proteins and carbohydrates when you need it and why you need it. It's really important. It's quite important to be mindful of why you're feeding yourself what you're feeding yourself. Yeah.
How much water should these kids be drinking every day?
It's going to sound quite overwhelming, but I would say about 1.5 to 2 litres a day. And the reason why I say that is when you're in school, your brain actually uses quite a lot of water. People don't realise. Your brain uses water, it also uses glycogen, which is why it's more important for us, you student athletes, to ensure that you're hydrated but you also have enough nutrition, because you're probably using it a lot more than some of your schoolmates who probably aren't doing as much exercise as you are. But if you drink a glass of water every hour, you'll actually find that you have your water intake for the day. Because if a glass is 250 millilitres, if you have 8 of those, so 1 every hour for 8 hours, which is your average school day, you will actually meet your water intake for that day. So if you ensure that you take water regularly, you probably are quite hydrated and you don't have to think about it. So just think, I need to have water quite regularly. Instead of damning it before I change, I should don't do that, because then you will have stitches. Is everyone informed about nutrition? I know I chucked quite a lot of information at you, but it's quite important to understand why nutrition is really important.
Thank you.
Do you understand why nutrition is important?
Yes. I just want to say, I hope I can not use her, but have Laviai come and talk about some other things to you as time goes on. And it's really important that she's at the top of where you want to get to, and she still wants to get a bit further than she is now. Okay, so it's important that you start talking to her. Some of you train with her and you see her every week, and some of you don't even utilise She runs for utilise that. She runs for Great Britain. She does 400. Okay, some of you won't do 400, doesn't matter. Does 400. She works out hard. She focuses. If you watch her when she's training, some of you, you've seen how much she puts into her training sessions. And sometimes you think I'm moaning and I complain. I coached Laviai when she was, some of you, 12, 13, 14. 13, okay? So I coached her when she was that age, then she went away, and then she's come back again. Now, in all the time that I didn't coach her, I still was in contact with her, I still spoke to her, I still mentored her, I still encouraged her. Because it's about family, it's about building something, and it's about being together and learning from each other. Because just like I'm standing here, and some of the things that she said, I'm learning as well. A lot of the stuff I know, but it's like, oh yes, I need to tell them that, you know, and it reinforces things. Sometimes it reinforces things. She's not an alien. Just because she runs for Great Britain, she's not an alien. She can be spoken to, you can see her, you can meet her. And the other athletes that run for Great Britain, they're there to enable you to be the best that you can be. So when you meet them or you see them, talk to them, ask them questions, ask them about their sleep, ask them about their nutrition, because it's really important. But especially if you've got somebody in our group, you know, I will try and ask her to do some other stuff for you. But I really hope that you've learned something, even if it's a small bit about nutrition, that you've learned something tonight. Parents as well, you've got to help support your children on this journey. And it's not about being the best and you can only do it when you're the best. It's about now, because you're still learning, you're still growing. And if you learn it now, it's going to set you up for the future. If you don't know it now, so loads of kids aren't getting what you're getting tonight, aren't able to meet somebody who's going to talk to them, who's only a couple of years older than them. This is a really important, she's a really important asset to the group, but it's also important for you to see that she's normal, she breathes, she makes mistakes. I mean, the other day she was vomiting on the track. She was kneeling down and she was being sick on the track. But that's how much she puts into her training, and I think sometimes you guys have to work for the pain barrier. You have to learn to push yourselves, because sometimes you will vomit, sometimes you will pass out. And I won't give you sympathy, I'll just tell you to get on with it. So which is what I told her to do, and she did another 300 in it. She was wonderful, and I was very proud of her. But it's about building relationships with each other, with me, and also with Laviai and other GB athletes that you may come across as you go through your everyday life. Savannah's sister runs for Great Britain. If she comes here and you see her, talk to her, ask her what she does, you know. And all of the one good thing about all of these girls and guys is a lot of them have gone to university. I mean, Laviai last year studied and she still made a GB team, and she still was the only one that got to the final, and she was studying, and she qualified for a degree, and she went to King's College in London. Yeah, she's amazing, I know she is. So just give her one last clap. Thank you, Laviai. I really appreciate it. Have a nice weekend.
There's more snacks in.